All right, Scott, grab your boards. We're hitting the slopes.
For a whole lot more videos like this one, check out our channel, give us a like, and subscribe.
Scott, it may be summertime, but we're hitting the slopes in Alto's collection. The first game had us going in Alto's Adventure, where we actually hit the slopes in snow, and then Odyssey Part 2, more or less, was hitting it in the desert. Two different games, more or less the same though. And then from there, we just hit A.
Yeah, it's a very simple game. It's one of those one-button games, but it really works.
It's obviously really easy to get into, and it's just a matter of when you time your backflip within just seconds of either messing up the entire thing or landing it. And when you land it with that just minute second and you continue on, and then you get this kind of bit of a shield that goes up around you and allows you to burst through some rocks. It is cool, and the idea really is to see how far you can push yourself to keep going forward, and that's where I got hooked, is to see. And then eventually, actually, you were on screen as well, because you hadn't gone as far, but now you've actually just kind of blown me out of the water. But it is nice to have that friend kind of chasing leaderboard scenario in there as well. Super chill game, and it's just addicting, to be honest.
There's a little bit of this depth to it as well. It's casual and calm on the surface, but later on, if you get like 10 kilometers into this track, it starts getting really, really fast, and there's a lot of different obstacles that come up. So there is, you know, a little bit of a skill shelf to it, and there are challenges that present to you along the way as well. So you're always given kind of this task to do during your run, 3 of them specifically, and then you move on to the next level. Well, every 10 levels or so, you unlock a new character, and that character just has a slightly different set of stats, I guess. Then you press A and it flips faster.
But they're slower to accumulate speed, right? So there are a couple different things in how they actually use the progression to get further in the game. I thought it was a nice touch. And the fact that we can also get in there and use upgrades at the same time, Scott, was pretty cool as you collect these coins.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff to spend those coins on. You can kind of just get these ranging upgrades to your pickups, or you can get this like wingsuit ability, and that wingsuit lets you fly through the air and extends your jump much longer and further. It kind of changes the game and makes it way more fast-paced at that point. The pickups I mentioned are like these magnet things that help you pick up more coins, or just this hoverboard ability, or a lotus flower in Odyssey that keeps you alive even if you do hit some sort of object.
Touch briefly on Odyssey. So the adventure is part 1, Odyssey being part 2. What do you think of moving forward into the winter scene, into a desert scenario, and then actually coming across some vines as you get further, and then you get a sandboard, and it actually lets you kind of clip onto walls and jump off of walls too. I thought it was a nice little addition. Not a lot to change from one game to the next, but just little perks here or there.
Yeah, it seems it's very mobile friendly, and this game is actually available on mobile as well, for both sides of the mobile consumer market, and you can definitely see that influence here. So it seems like just another kind of iteration, a new flavor on the original game. It's really not too terribly different, but it does kind of freshen up the environment. It's a lot of hot air balloons, and the levels are kind of situated a little differently. The cartoon style, you know, more so resembles like a Prince of Persia kind of background, whereas the Alto's adventure version is just a kind of Yeti mountain kind of thing. An important thing to note in a game like this is the audio track that is accompanying it. I found in Alto's Adventure, it's kind of this like high-strung piano noise. It's not very relaxing to me. It kind of stressed me out a little bit. And then when you do inevitably crash, it just kind of stops dead. It's a very dull like ending to the song. But in Alto's Odyssey, I found the music to be much more enjoyable, and the audio and stuff was more calming, and I could take that game a little more carefully. But we've talked enough about this little simple concept. What do you think of this game?
overall, you know, my time was addicting to get into that. And it's so simple, right? But there's not a lot to the game overall. As you kind of venture your way through, and the more levels you gear up for and stuff is a great time. But it's kind of overall, it feels like a mobile game, and that's not a bad thing either. It's simple, it's relaxing, it allows you to get in and get out, and I'm there with a 7.
Yep, I have to agree with that. Basically for the same reason. It's a mobile game brought over to the Xbox, but that's not a slight, and in today's world, that's a game for somebody. It's nice and casual, but you can get deeper and spend more time. I'm also giving this one a 7. A simple yet satisfying concept, jump and flip for as long as you can with one button.